Hello, friends. I haven't done a stack review in a while, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just because I finally caught up with all my reading, or at least most of my reading. You know, I've been subscribing to all the different iterations of Blade Runner for around 2 years, and I have a stack about this high of these comic books. I haven't read any of them. I'm going to have to sit down and do that someday. Maybe I'll review all that. It's just between regular novels and graphic novels. I just started reading The Invisibles. Anybody out there not read The Invisibles yet? I am so grateful that I waited until I was 40 to read this thing. I did not have the patience for Grant Morrison's Invisibles until this point in my life. I don't think I would have enjoyed it. I would have written it off as something else, or just, I don't know. Yeah, I really am quite into that right now. So that's been gobbling up a lot of my time. I'm reading a few other books too. Anyway, 10,000 Black Feathers, numbers 3 and 4. Wow, what a strange journey this was. I mean, you don't expect anything less from Lemire and Sorrentino. I want to go back and read it again. I feel a lot of the series that I do subscribe to, sometimes I have to go back and remind myself where the hell this all comes from. Issue 5 of 10,000 Black Feathers is the last issue, and I think I took for granted that this was a limited series, and you know, you're reading and you're reading and you're reading and you're reading and you're like, wow, okay, it's going, and then it ends and you're like, oh shit. That's how I felt. Highly enjoyable. It's also part of a larger story, which is the Boneyard Mythos. So it's just, these 5 issues are just a piece of something else. And so it's not the end of the story, but it's kind of almost annoying. Like, oh, the end? This isn't the end. Don't bullshit me. But I loved it. A plus to all that. All 5 issues. It's a single story. The thing is, a lot of the comics that come out now, it's the comic book format originally, when it was first. It is so windy out. Can you hear that? Probably, I don't know. But it's really windy today where I am, and it's super cold outside. But the comic book format, I don't think it serves necessarily the kind of stories that are being told sometimes. And I love comics, and I want to support the creators, and I want to support the industry, and I want to be a subscriber, and I want to be throwing my money at those single issues so they know we're paying attention. But sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is this? I forgot all about this because I have a life, and I'm doing other things, I'm creating things, I'm reading things, I'm working a life. And then I go back and I'm like, I love this, but I don't know what's going on anymore. And sometimes you just want your complete story. Which is why I'm kind of grateful that Jeff Lemire and Sorrentino actually did release part of the Boneyard Mythos as a complete graphic novel, even though it's a fragment of a larger story. But anyway, I digress. Something that you can take in bite sizes without wondering too much where it comes from is Elvira in HorrorLand. This is the last issue of Elvira in HorrorLand, but if anyone reads Elvira, you know by now that one Elvira miniseries just feeds into the next. It's like an ongoing with a different subtitle. And if you like one, you're gonna like the rest. I loved Elvira in HorrorLand. I didn't love it as much as Elvira meets Vincent Price, but it was really great for seasoned horror fans like me. And I think people like me would really enjoy this. If you enjoy Elvira and you enjoy horror, this was so cool, and lots of just big heaping mounds of fan service here. Pick that up. The whole thing. Just buy the graphic now. That part's over. Don't go and subscribe. Just buy the graphic when it comes out. As well as Elvira meets Vincent Price, because you're going to enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy this. So, a friend of mine runs a place where I get coffee. And for Christmas, she gave me this homemade sangria. I haven't drank it yet, so I'm going to drink it now. This is delicious. I don't even normally like sangria, but I wanted to give it a shot. Earthdivers. I loved this concept a lot. I thought it was very interesting. I liked the art. I don't know if I'm going to be getting more of it. If I find it in graphic form, I probably will. I don't know if I'm going to follow single issues of this. I really do want to see where it goes, but not enough to subscribe to it. I don't know what that means. Maybe you can tell me what that means for me. Maybe it's, I don't want to commit incrementally, but in the long run, I'll give you my money in one chunk to see how this turns out. Yeah. SheHulk 8 and 9. I love this series. I continue to love this series, which means it'll probably get canceled. That's what happens. Yeah, I loved the SheHulk TV show. It was directly in the spirit of the 80s burn SheHulk. And what more can we ask for? And I think anyone who complains about the direction, especially about the last episode took, doesn't know anything about the comics. I loved that whole... I'm not going to do a review of the SheHulk show here, but it was... They did something there that I didn't think they were going to be able to do, and they made me so happy that they did that. As my little tiny 1980s self was so happy with that SheHulk show, and the fact that a bunch of frankly ignorant people who don't know any better are gonna come and be like, well, this SheHulk show is stupid and I'm like, I guess it wasn't for you. I don't know. I can't imagine anyone who enjoys SheHulk and the tongue-in-cheek quality that the comics has and the fourth wall breaking that it's always had couldn't enjoy that show. Here I go. I'm doing a review of the show, but there's a moment in issue 9 where she's just like doing that thing. And it's kind of heartbreaking because it speaks to her history as a character, kind of what happened with the reaction to the TV show and everything. It was so perfect. And because of that, I know that it's going to go away. It's probably going to go away. SheHulk always goes away, but she always comes back. So let's hope for that. FantasticFour issues 2 and 3. These are self-contained stories. I liked both of them. The Doombot thing with Sue and Reed and Johnny Storm's secret identity, kind of a little weird, honestly. Weirder than I'm used to FantasticFour being, which is saying a lot because they've always had a very, very bizarre, almost goofy rogues gallery. But yeah, there was some stuff going on here that I appreciated. I really do want to see them do something interesting with the FantasticFour, and at least they're doing something different. So thank you, FantasticFour creators. And oh, you have to love these. Sorry, I'm going to put them up again. The Alex Ross covers. Alex Ross illustrating anything is beautiful, but specifically the FantasticFour. Yeah, there's that. And these are two that I picked up randomly, and this is kind of harkening back to probably late December, early January when I went to the comic store. This was Savage Tales, a winter special that I picked up. Not particularly wintry, but this lady in the front looked very kind of wintry, and so I picked it up. You know, this flaxen lady with the fringe bangs. Thought she was interesting looking, but I don't really even remember too much from this. I liked the Warlord of Mars story. That was cool. And if you want it, I don't need it anymore. And then last was this. I'm looking for the second issue of this. It's Silent Night, Deadly Night, the comic book series. I hadn't even heard about this. It's a sequel to the first movie. I think it's a sequel to the first movie or the second movie. It picks up where either the first or second movie left off. I think it's the first. And it's just as cheesy and ridiculous as the movie, if not more. And it really does adhere to a lot of the stuff that went on in that movie. So if you are a fan of this movie, you should really be reading this. I don't know if there's another issue out yet, though. It does end on a cliffhanger. So I imagine that there's going to be more than just that one issue. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my stack review. Oh, hi. Sorry, I almost forgot. Little Monsters, issues 8 and 3, because I just read number 9 over at my coffee table, and I left these over at my coffee table. Still going strong with this. Again, another example of kind of feel like I need to reread this from the beginning, because you get a little lost, but I'm still really into the parts that I remember. I know I don't have a lot here considering I haven't done one of these in a long time. And there has been a lot more comic books between the last one I did and this one. It's just hard for me to keep track. So for those of you who come to hear these things from me about comic books, I apologize for my lack of adherence to a schedule, but also hello and thank you for watching. That's it, really. What are you guys reading right now? What are you into right now? I'm kind of interested to hear about. It's hard for me to really get into new stuff lately. That's why The Invisibles has been such a breath of fresh air for me. There's stuff that's going on in that series, even though it was written in the 90s, that is so apt for what's happening in the world right now. It's kind of depressing to show how things never really change. Overall, some things do. We've had some good changes, and we've also been stuck in the mud in a lot of ways. But The Invisibles is really is a really entertaining, challenging read. I really appreciate it. And like I said at the beginning of this, I'm really grateful that I waited so long to sink my teeth into it, because I don't think my 15-year-old self would have been patient enough. I think my frontal lobes had to form first. But that's it, I guess. I'm gonna try this year to do this a little bit more regularly. No promises, but thanks for again, every time I come on, there's always like 1 or 2 new people who have subscribed here. So hello, I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. Hi, I'm Raina, in case I haven't said that in a while. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, or whenever it is that you're gonna watch this. I mean, no matter where it is that you watch this, the weekend is it's going to be down the road sometime, so have a nice weekend. Or just have a nice day. Have a nice life. Whatever you're doing. Yeah. I should have ended this video a while ago. I'll do it now.